We're diving into 20 Sapphic rom-coms and fun romances that range from box office smash hits to indie cult classics you might have missed. Stick around, because one of these low-budget legends was famously produced by a Hollywood megastar you'd never expect. Let's get into it. Number 12, Imagine Me and You, 2005. This film is often cited as the ultimate comfort watch, and for good reason. It famously defied the tragic tropes of early 2000s queer cinema. Written and directed by Al Parker, the movie centers on a bride who locks eyes with her florist right as she's walking down the aisle. Interestingly, the title comes from the first line of the Turtles' song Happy Together, which acts as the film's anthem. While critics at the time gave it mixed reviews for being too fluffy, it has since become a staple for its unapologetic happy ending. Fun fact, Piper Perabo and Lena Headey had such natural chemistry that many fans still don't realize Headey, future Cersei Lannister, was playing against type as the shy, romantic lead. Who doesn't love a wedding crash scenario where the bride actually leaves with the florist? Number 11, But I'm a Cheerleader, 1999. It's hard to believe now, but this neon-soaked satire was originally slapped with an NC-17 rating just for its subject matter, despite having no explicit nudity. Director Jamie Babbitt fought the MPAA to get it down to an R, arguing that the double standard was purely political. The film stars a young Natasha Lyonne as a cheerleader sent to a conversion camp called True Directions, where the gender roles are hilariously exaggerated in pink and blue. While it bombed at the initial box office, barely scraping together $2 million, it found a massive second life on home video. Today, it's arguably the most quoted film on this list. RuPaul playing the ex-gay counselor Mike is just the icing on the campy cake. Number 10, D.E.B.S, 2004. Before Twilight and the Hunger Games, there was D.E.B.S. What started as a modest short film became a cult feature about plaid-skirted secret agents. Director Angela Robinson pitched it as a lesbian spy spoof, and despite a tiny budget of around $3.5 million, she managed to snag Jordana Brewster and Meagan Good for the lead roles. The premise is absurdly fun. The Academy's top spy falls for the supervillain she's supposed to capture. While it wasn't a mainstream hit, holding a 40% rating on Rotten Tomatoes upon release, its fan base has exploded in the streaming era. It's proof that sometimes style, soundtrack, and sheer audacity matter more than a coherent plot. Number 9, Happiest Season, 2020. When Hulu dropped this holiday rom-com, it didn't just perform well, it broke records. Happiest Season became the most-watched original film on Hulu during its opening weekend, proving there was a massive, starving audience for mainstream queer holiday joy. Directed by Clea Duvall, yes, the same Clea Duvall from But I'm a Cheerleader, the film navigates the stress of bringing a secret girlfriend home for Christmas. While the love triangle sparked fierce online debates about who Kristen Stewart's character should have ended up with, the film's impact is undeniable. It was one of the first times a major studio backed a lesbian Christmas movie with A-list talent, including Dan Levy and Aubrey Plaza. Number 8, Crush, 2022. Stepping away from the heavy drama of older queer films, Crush is a breath of fresh air for the Gen Z audience. Released directly to Hulu, it embraces the classic high school rom-com formula. A young artist joins the track team to woo her longtime crush, only to fall for her teammate instead. It features Rowan Blanchard and Auli E. Cravalho, giving voice to a generation where queerness is often treated as casual fact rather than a tragic secret. The script actually topped the 2018 GLAAD list of unproduced LGBTQ scripts before finally getting the green light. It's light, low stakes, and completely devoid of the coming-out trauma narrative, which is exactly why audiences loved it. Number 7, Bottoms, 2023. This is not your average teen movie. Bottoms operates on a level of absurdist satire that feels more like not another teen movie than Love, Simon. Directed by Emma Seligman and co-written by star Rachel Sennett, the plot revolves around two unpopular queer girls starting a fight club under the guise of female empowerment, purely to hook up with cheerleaders. It was a breakout hit at SXSW, praised for its chaotic, improvised energy. With a budget of roughly $11 million, it managed to pull in a strong per-theater average during its limited release, signaling that audiences were hungry for messy, morally dubious female characters. It's violent, bloody, and hilariously inappropriate. Number 6, Saving Face, 2004. Here is a verified, fascinating detail. Will Smith is one of the producers of this film. Yes, that Will Smith. Director Alice Wu wrote the script based on her own experiences coming out to her traditional Chinese mother, but she famously refused to sell the rights unless she could cast Asian American actors, a demand that scared off most studios until Smith's production company stepped in. The story juggles two romances, the daughter's relationship with a dancer and her 48-year-old mother's surprise pregnancy. It was groundbreaking for its portrayal of the Asian American queer experience and remains a critical darling, holding an impressive 87% on Rotten Tomatoes almost 2 decades later. Number 5. The Feels, 2017. Most bachelorette party movies go off the rails, but The Feels takes a more grounded, improvisational approach. The premise is simple. A group of friends heads to wine country for a lesbian bachelorette weekend, but the vibe shatters when one bride admits she's never had an orgasm. The film stars Constance Wu, right before her massive breakout in Crazy Rich Asians. What makes this unique is the dialogue. Much of it was improvised by the cast, giving the friendships a messy, realistic texture that scripted jokes often miss. It's a low-key, mumblecore comedy that focuses heavily on the awkward, unspoken tensions between longtime friends. Number 4. Itty Bitty Titty Committee, 2007. If But I'm a Cheerleader was the polished satire, this is the gritty, punk rock younger sister. Also directed by Jamie Babbitt, this film dives into the riot grrrl aesthetic of the mid-2000s. It follows a young woman rejected by her dream college who falls in with a radical feminist group causing chaos across the city. The film was produced by the nonprofit Power Up, which aims to promote LGBTQ women in entertainment. While it polarized critics with its aggressive political messaging, it secured its place in history by winning the Grand Jury Award at SXSW. It's loud, messy, and features a killer soundtrack from bands like Le Tigre. Number 3. Nina's Heavenly Delights, 2006. Imagine Bend It Like Beckham, but with a curry competition instead of soccer. This Scottish film follows Nina, who returns home for her father's funeral and ends up trying to save the family restaurant by winning the Best of the West curry cook-off. Naturally, she falls for the woman who owns half the business. It was the first feature by director Pratibha Parmar and is notable for blending Bollywood musical aesthetics with British wit. While it didn't smash global box office records, it provided rare representation for queer South Asian women in a genre usually dominated by white protagonists. It's food, family, and romance wrapped in a very gentle package. Number 2. Better Than Chocolate, 1999. For a Canadian indie film made on a shoestring budget, Better Than Chocolate punched way above its weight. It was one of the highest-grossing Canadian films of 1999, bringing in over $2 million domestically. The story centers on a young woman working in a lesbian bookstore who has to hide her life, and her new girlfriend, when her mother and brother abruptly move in. The film is a time capsule of late 90s Vancouver, capturing the censorship wars over queer literature happening at the time. It navigates the tricky balance of family drama and rom-com tropes, all while managing to be surprisingly steamy for a comedy. Number 1. The Incredibly True Adventure of Two Girls in Love, 1995. This is independent filmmaking at its most resourceful. Writer-director Maria Maggenti reportedly shot this movie in just 21 days with a budget of roughly $60,000. The plot is a classic opposites attract scenario. A working-class tomboy falls for a wealthy, popular black girl. Despite the tiny budget, it premiered at Sundance and became a sleeper hit, grossing over $2 million. It famously launched the career of Laurel Holloman, who would go on to play Tina Kennard in The L Word. The film's raw, grainy aesthetic adds to its charm, feeling like a genuine documentary of first love in the mid-90s. There you have it. 11 films that prove Sapphic cinema is way more than just period dramas and tragedy. Whether you're in the mood for a Swedish blockbuster or a wacky spy spoof, there's something here for tonight's movie marathon.